Last night's Dynamite was really pissing busy, but before I get going I need to wish a belated happy birthday to young Brodie Lee Jr. before he kicks the piss out of me, even though he currently is on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. I wouldn't put it past him, he's hard as fuck. But I tell you what, from last night's Dynamite, I really enjoyed the opening tag team match involving the Dark Order. I really enjoyed the tag team match involving Hardy Party, and I really enjoyed the main event tag team match, because Jake Hager in that match, that is the single best performance I have ever seen from the conscience of 5-star wrestling ever. He was in fuego, I think Mauro would say. But outside of those things there, and I don't know if this was just me, I felt that last night's Dynamite, it really just felt like an episode of AEW Dark with some steroids shoved in its arse cheek. Which isn't a bad thing, by the way, it's just not as good as we're used to. Yes, we're spoiled brats who watch AEW, but it's Thursday and you know what that means. It's time to go through all of the WTF moments from last night's Dynamite. And before we get going, lots of people, upwards of 3 people, have asked me on Twitter, Ross, what do you make of AEW having their own WTF Moments Award on the awards ceremony show next week? And let me tell you, in the grand scheme of things, not too many people watch this video series, so this is just another fine example of a big corporation squashing a little man in the WTF Moments game. Hit the intro. And a really shocking sight was seen during the lovely birthday celebrations for Brodie Lee Jr. at the start of last night's show. Who would have thought it? Who would have believed that George from Scary Movie 3 was presumably a professional wrestler? Rapping, farming, other things. Is there anything he can't do? This place has become nothing but a daycare centre, said Luther, who is of course only in AEW because he's pals with Chris Jericho. And just to hammer it home once again, Chris Jericho is Luther's pal who got him in AEW and in turn is taking care of his pal. The only difference between Luther, of course, and Brodie Lee Jr. is the fact that Brodie Lee Jr. is a child and Luther is a fully grown man. But then again, Luther, being a fully grown man, is a professional wrestling heel, so was wanting me to say something like that, wasn't he? Hopefully he was. If he wasn't, he's a bit of a tit. But I tell you what, he did want to ruin a child's birthday, therefore we've got to like Luther now, don't we? We just do. And then we heard Big Dick Tony Schiavone saying this duo of the Dark Order really have become an internet sensation on being the elite. And I was thinking to myself, Big Dick Tony, what the hell are you talking about? Bonnie lad, as Pac would say up here in Newcastle upon Tyne, England. Duo, Dark Order, which duo are you talking about? Which duo are you talking about? Easy for me to say. Which duo are you talking about? If there's one thing we know about the Dark Order, it's that they definitely are not a duo. The disrespect shown by Big Dick Tony Schiavone to the rest of the Dark Order is shameful. You bastard, Tony. And then I guess we've got to make Adam Hangman Page turning down the Dark Order a massive WTF moment. It just seems so good to be true, wasn't it? They were perfect for each other. It's a pissing shame, so it is. But notice how Hangman Page said no, therefore upsetting not only the Dark Order, but the watching AEW universe, if that's even a term they actually use. But then he grabbed a bottle of JD and he headed down the heel entrance tunnel. AJ Styles in WWE, as we all know, he talks about the little things being the good things in professional wrestling, and that little detail there, a drinking Hangman Page upsetting the crowd walking down the heel corridor. That's a little thing there. Watch out, watch this space. Question, how does MJF actually know what rats having an orgy in a running microwave actually smells like? Bloody pervert. Now this was weird to see, wasn't it? What was Stein actually going to congratulate Darby Allin on? I was thinking when looking at that thing there, he can't have been turning up to last night's Dynamite to simply congratulate Darby Allin for Darby Allin holding the title he's already held for 75 plus days. I was thinking maybe Sting would be congratulating Darby for, you know, finding the right door to get to the rafters of Daly's Place, or, you know, surviving actual death in that match against Brian Cage on last week's show. But it did turn out that Sting was actually just there to congratulate Darby Allin for holding a title he's already held for over 2 months. That was really worthwhile. Well, Alex Marvez is a creep, isn't he? He heard that the Elite was having a meeting at Kenny Omega's house, and upon hearing that news, he went and hid in Kenny Omega's house's front garden, and when the Young Bucks turned up, he presumably leapt out of a bush with a camera crew in tow. Now, some people might be saying that's journalism's, but I've got a degree in journalism's, and part of that degree course, it didn't ever say anything like that. So I reckon that's stalking, Marvez, you creepy man. Canadian males, Canadian males, Canadian males, Canadian... And upon hearing about that gift from Don Callis to Kenny Omega, my mind went straight to that promo Jake the Snake Roberts cut on Dynamite a long time ago, where he literally said he is the manager of Lance Archer because watching Lance Archer beat up other men, it turns him on, it gets him horny, he jerks his snake. Jerk the Snake Roberts. And after seeing that there, I'm getting similar vibes from Don and Kenny. But if you're looking for some analysis on that portrait there, I just like the fact that Don Callis is more ripped than Kenny Omega, because of course he would be if he ever took his suit off. But a secondary WTF moment to that initial WTF moment of that portrait right there is the fact that AEW, as of right now, are not selling that thing there on a t-shirt, on a poster, anything. That's unprecedented. Normally the thing's on sale before it's even a thing on TV. You know what I'm trying to say. And then we see Michael Nakazawa escorting Alex Marvez down to the dungeon. And I was thinking, is that meant to be some sort of punishment? I reckon that creepy bastard Alex Marvez would like that. Hiding in people's gardens, jumping out from the bushes in other people's gardens. That's not journalism's. And then Don Callis sent the cameraman who was shooting the stuff inside of Kenny Omega's house down to the dungeon as well. You're not shooting in Kenny's house, Don said to the cameraman. But then he followed that up by saying, cameraman, you leave the camera down there, before turning back to the Young Bucks and saying, now that we have privacy. That was incredibly dumb. Unless, of course, Don wanted the camera to be there to document what was said between himself and the Bucks to take the footage back to Kenny, but that didn't happen on last night's show, so maybe the Bucks were looking stupid here. Anyway, somebody knew in that shot there that the camera was rolling, yet they didn't recognize it. Logistically, stuff like that makes no sense. But stuff like that there on last night's Dynamite, it just makes you think about old-fashioned TNA. One thing that TNA got right back in the day was the fly-on-the-wall camera that the wrestlers had no idea was there. Why couldn't that have been used on last night's show? Marvez is capable of creepy stuff like that. He hides in people's gardens, man. And I don't know about you at home, but I just love how the commentators before that Cody Rhodes versus Pretty Peter Avalon match, they made a big hoo-ha about how over the past 3 weeks, Cody Rhodes has put a massive 19 pounds of muscle, solid, really hard, tough muscle on his already muscular body frame. But at numerous points during that match, we had the really not muscular, but oh so sexy Pretty Peter Avalon overpowering the 19 plus pounds heavier Cody Rhodes. And it just goes to show you, everybody, these big massive muscles the professional wrestlers have, they're just for show, aren't they? You might as well be a fat bastard like me, don't care about your diet and just live life to the fullest. It's a great way to be. Bernd Krishna this week from Excalibur while trying to say the name of Bernd Chrysler, otherwise known as Bert Kreischer. As it would appear that getting that smelly racist dog shagger's name wrong on AEW is now a bit. It's going to be interesting to see how many different times we can change the name of Bernd Chrysler. And again, if you don't watch Two Bears One Cave, I'm sorry that point made no sense whatsoever. And this is a move right here. That's a wrestling move. I don't know, and I don't want to sound like a disgruntled boomer, but it might just appear to me, a person who does not know how the mechanicals of professional wrestling works, that was one flip too many. If Dick Dastardly and Ace Ventura and a poodle all had the intercourse and produced a lovely baby child, that baby child would grow up to be Kenny Omega. That wardrobe is so good, it has to be made a WTF moment. We all know that WTF moments don't have to be negative, and that wardrobe there is absolutely sensational. Kenny Omega, where do you shop?
It's Jim Ross, bitch. Bah, Gouda did it again.
Now I need to preface this WTF moment because I don't think I say it enough on these AEWTF moments. I love Jim Ross. I think he is still the GOAT in terms of the commentary of the professional wrestling. But coming out of last night's Dynamite, I can't have been the only person thinking, Jim, I hope you're okay, man. You sounded so grumpy on last night's show, rolling your eyes at everything you saw, treating the Charles Taylor bit with such contempt, being so sarcastic. Sarcastic? Sarcastic. Just sounding really genuinely disgruntled with what you were seeing in front of your eyes and like you didn't want to be there. It was a shame to hear. But then the actual WTF moment came when Jim Ross called the inner circle Inter Circle, like Inter Milan, but a circle. And I know AEW's Jim Ross in wrong name, shocker, but however, man, Jim, however, man. And then I guess we've got to end these WTF moments for last night's Dynamite with Chris Jericho almost killing himself. It was horrible to see, but then again, it wasn't the first time he's almost done that when he's been doing a lion salt. But just stay safe, Chris. Stay safe, man. Stay safe. Everybody at home, stay safe. Please stay safe. But thank you very much for watching this video. I love you all very dearly. Next week on Dynamite, of course, we'll find out what the people who matter think is the actual biggest WTF moment from last year or whatever in AEW. So that's good. I'll waste my time here, don't you? But thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.